Today we're going to be talking about 9.4, the percent equation. Yesterday we had talked about is over of equals p over 100. Today I'm going to teach you a brand new idea of the percent equation. The formula for today, p times of equals is. The main thing you want to know that you can see over there, you have to change the percent to a decimal. The of is your total, the is your part, okay? So we're going to use that formula to help us out today. This is what it says. Use the percent equation to answer the questions. Number one says, what number is 20% of 110? So we're going to start off with our formula. What's the brand new percent equation formula we learned today? P times of equals is. Do we know what the P is?
Yes.
What is it? 20%, okay? Now if you remember in the notes I said change that percent to a decimal. When you change 20% to a decimal, what do you get? Okay, so here's what you have. The decimal point is right there, 1, 2, and now it is 0.2 when it's changed to a decimal. Do I know what the of is?
Yes.
What is it? Okay, of 110. So I'm going to be multiplying times 110. Do I know what the is?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Look right here. It says what number is. That means I don't know it, so I'm just going to put an X. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator. 0.2 times 110. What do you get, guys?
22.
Okay, 22 equals X, and that's your answer. Once again, if I go back, it says what number is 20% of 110. So do I need to add a percent sign to that? No, because it's only asking me what the number is, not what a percent is. Okay, let's go on to number 2. What percent of 75 is 36? Once again, you're going to start off with our new formula, P times of equals is. Okay, we're looking for the percent, and you're right, we don't know what it is yet, so we're just going to leave it as a P. Do I know what my of is?
75.
You're right, so P times 75, do I know what my is? 36, okay? Now, my whole goal is to get the P by itself. What do I have to do to get P by itself?
75 times.
Well, I think you got to turn
And then you divide by. So
Divide by what?
You divided by 36.
You don't want to divide by 36. My goal is to get P by itself. So what's not letting P be alone? 75. So what do?
divide by.
Divide by 75. What I do to one side, I've got to do to the other. So now go ahead and plug that into your calculator. 75 over 75 cancels out, and I'm left with 36 over 75. What is 36 over 75? 0.48. Now, the P stands for percent, so I cannot leave that as a decimal. I need it to be turned into a percent. How do I turn 0.48 into a percent? Move the decimal 2 times, and what's my answer? 48%. When I go back to my original problem and I see that it says what percent, right here, I know that I am looking for percent. What percent of 75 is 36? Then your answer is 48%. Questions? Number 3 says 45 is 90% of what number? Mason, what do I do?
You have to put P times of equals to.
Okay, do I know my P?
Yes, 90%.
Okay, do I put it in as 90%?
No, you split it out.
No.
Oh wait, you changed it to this.
Change it to a decimal. What is 90% as a decimal?
Yes.
0.9. Ashley, what's my of? Okay, since we don't know it, it's an X. Jakari, what's my is?
45.
Good job. My whole goal is to get X by itself. Addison, how do I do that?
You divide
By?
49. Oh, wait.
If your goal is to get X by itself, what's not letting X be by itself?
9.
Not 9. What's it say?
9. Oh, 90.
What's this say right here?
0.9.
0.9. Okay, 0.9 is so different than 9, okay? It's a difference between if you had money, 90 cents or $9. So one tiny decimal makes a big, big difference, okay? How do I get X by itself?
Divide by 0.9.
Okay, divide by 0.9 on both sides. When I do that, Sherelle, what do I get? What'd you say?
50.
X equals 50.
I don't need.
Okay, so 45 is 90% of what number? It is 90% of the number 50. 50 is what percent of 250? What's my original equation I start with?
P times of equals is.
P times of equals is. Do I know my P?
No.
No, because it says what percent, so I do not know that. So I'm going to keep it as a P. Do I know my of?
Yes.
What is it? Okay, of 250, so I'm multiplying times 250. Do I know my is?
Yes.
What is it? Okay, 50 is. My goal is to get P by itself. What do I have to do? Divide by 250. You got to be fair and do it to both sides. What is 50 divided by 250? 0.2. Now, if I go back to my original equation, 50 is what percent of 250? So my answer has to be as a percent. How do I make 0.2 a percent? Move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. What goes in that empty spot? A 0. So my answer is what? 20%. I had a few people who just wrote that their answer was 20. Always go back through and double check to see 50 is what percent of 250, then you know your answer has to be a percent. Raise your hand if you got it correct. Raise your hand if you have a question. You don't understand why it's 20%. Okay. Number 5. What number is 29% of 88? So is this going to come out as a number or will it come out as a percent? It's going to be a number, not a percent. All right, go ahead and try number 5 on your own. What number is 29% of 88? What do you think I should do? Good job. Do I know my percent? What is it? Okay, it's 29%. Change to a decimal, 0.29. Do I know my of? What is it? 88. Do I know my is? Nope, so I keep it as an X. So what is 0.29 times 88? 25.52 equals X. And that is your answer. How many of you got that correct? All right, more than half of you. Good job. Let's try this last example like this, number 6. What percent of 300 is 51? You're always going to start with your formula. What is our formula for this? The percent equation is?
P times of equals is.
P times of equals is. Do I know what my percent is? No, so I'm going to keep it as P. Do I know my of?
300.
300. Do I know my is? 51. I want to get P by itself, so I divide by 300 on both sides. When I do that, what do I get? 0.17, but don't keep it as that. You want to move it over 2 times, and your answer is what, guys? 17%. Good job. Any questions on how to do this kind of a problem? The main thing is just knowing how to plug things in and figuring out the P and the of and the is, okay? Let's go ahead and write this story problem down. A shoe salesperson sells a pair of shoes for $125. The salesperson receives a 9% commission on the sale. How much is the commission? So let's just imagine that I am a person who's selling shoes. How much am I selling a pair of shoes for? $125. Now, if I sell you a pair of shoes for $125, I do not get all $125 because I sold it to you, okay? But I will get a small percent of that. What percent will I get? 9%. So basically what we're trying to figure out is if I sell you a pair of shoes, how much money do I make off of the sale, or what is my commission? So we're going to use the percent equation, which is P times of equals is. Do I know my percent? Yes. What is 9%? Change to a decimal. 0.09. Now, going back to my original notes that I had showed you at the very beginning, I said P times of equals is. Which one was the total amount? Is that the of or the is? The of. Which one is the part? Is. So let's think about it. If I'm selling something for $125, is that the total that I'm selling it for, or is that a part of what I'm selling it for? That's the total. So should my $125 be my of or my is? It should be the of, okay? Because this right here is the total. This right here is the part that I would make, or the salesman would make. So 0.09 times 125 equals X, because I don't know it yet. What is 0.09 times 125?
11.25 commission.
Okay, not 11.25 commission. What would it be? What's my unit that should go with it? Dollars, okay? I would make $11.25. That would be my commission, okay? So you don't have to write anything else with it. It just says how much is the commission? It's going to be $11.25, okay? Last one for today. An art gallery receives a 10% commission on paintings that are sold in the gallery. If the gallery sells $245 worth of art in one day, what commission is given to the art gallery? All right, so they don't make all $245. Some of that money has to go to the artists, the people with the supplies that they're purchasing. It goes to the rent that they have their art gallery in, but they will make a commission. They will get some of that money to take home with them. So I've got to use my percent equation one more time. What is my percent equation?
10.1.
P times of equals is. Do I know what my percent is?
Yes.
What is the percent change to a decimal? 0.1. Now, if you remember just a second ago we talked about it. The of, is that the total or is that the part?
No total.
That's the total. And then the is the part. Okay, so what do I know? If I know they're going to sell $245 worth of art, is that the total or is that part?
Part.
It's the total amount that they're selling, okay? They only get a part back. The commission is the part that they get. They don't get the whole amount, but they are selling a total amount of $245. Now we're trying to figure out what part the art gallery is going to make. What's the commission they're going to make? Plug that into your calculators to find out what their commission will be. What's their commission, guys? How much will they make?
$24.
Okay, don't just put 24.5. You've got to give me how much money they'll make. So that was correct. $24.50 is the amount that they will make. Tonight's homework is 9.4, page 434, and you'll see that it is these 10 problems that are here. So go ahead and write that down, and that is everything that you need to know for 9.4.